Good morning, everyone. We will now call to order the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, April 28th. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Certainly. Supervisor Kennedy.
Here.
Supervisor Desmond will be absent today. Supervisor Hume.
Here.
Supervisor Cerna.
Here.
And Chair Rodriguez.
Okay, let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Are there any announcements?
Yes, I do have a few announcements. First, I would like to note that there were two addendum items added to this agenda. First being the resolution recognizing the Sacramento Metro Chamber of Commerce for National Small Business Week, May 3rd through May 9th, and that will be on the consent calendar, as will the second addendum item, which was the authorization for the Director of the Department of Transportation to negotiate and execute a contract for replacement of sound wall on the west side Sunrise Boulevard between Sunset Avenue and Wild Ridge Drive in an amount not to exceed $2.5 million, and find emergency circumstances exist to forgo competitive procurement. That will also be on the consent calendar. And also, I do have an announcement regarding item 66, which is the Upper West Side specific plan. The previously scheduled Board of Supervisors hearing for the Upper West Side specific plan project on April 28th, 2026, today at 2:00 p.m., item 66 on the agenda, is planned to be rescheduled due to the unexpected absence of a board member. And because of the significance of the item, staff is recommending the Board of Supervisors drop the item from the April 28th agenda and reschedule to a date uncertain. And to do that, we would take a vote.
Move to make that change.
Second.
Please vote.
And that passes 4-0 with Supervisor Desmond absent.
All right, will the clerk please read the Metro statement?
This meeting of the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors is live and recorded with closed captioning. It is cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV U-verse cable systems. It is also live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Friday, May 1st at 6:00 p.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/MetroCable14. The Board of Supervisors fosters public engagement during the meeting and encourages public participation, civility, and use of courteous language. The Board does not condone the use of profanity, vulgar language, gestures, or other inappropriate behavior, including personal attacks or threats directed towards any meeting participant. Seating is limited and available on a first-come, first-served basis. Each speaker will be given 2 minutes to make a public comment and are limited to making one comment per agenda off-agenda item. Please be mindful of the public comment procedures to avoid being interrupted while making your comment. Comments made by the public during Board of Supervisors meetings may include information that could be inaccurate or misleading, particularly concerning topics related to public health, voter registrations, and elections. The County of Sacramento does not endorse or validate the accuracy of public statements made during these open public forums. The recordings are shared to provide transparency and access to the proceedings of public meetings. To make a comment in person, please fill out a speaker request form and hand it to clerk staff. The chairperson will open public comments for each agenda off-agenda item and direct the clerk to call the name of each speaker. When the clerk calls your name, please come to the podium and make your comment. If a speaker is unavailable to make a comment prior to the closing of public comments, the speaker waives their request to speak, and the clerk will file the speaker request form in the record. The clerk will manage the timer and allow each speaker 2 minutes to make a comment. Off-agenda public comments will take place for a maximum of 30 minutes. The remainder of the agenda comments will take place at the conclusion of the timed matters in the afternoon. As a reminder, Rule of Procedure 10B allows the chair to establish uniform time limits for people addressing the board in relation to particular matters. Such limits may be announced at the beginning of each matter posted on the agenda and can include setting a specific amount of time devoted to public comment for a particular item, announcing cutoff times for receipt of request to speak forms, reducing the amount of time per speaker, or other reasonable and content-neutral measures. You may send written comments by email to boardclerk@saccounty.gov. Your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record. If you need an accommodation pursuant to the Americans with Disability Act or medical or other reasons, please see clerk staff for assistance or contact the clerk's office at 916-874-5451 or by email at boardclerk@saccounty.gov. Thank you in advance for your courtesy and understanding of the meeting procedures.
Okay, will the clerk please call the first item?
The first item on our agenda is Bark of Supervisors Adoptable Pet Update.
Good morning, Annette.
Good morning. Annette Besworth, Director for Animal Care Services. Last month, we brought to you Audrey, and I'm happy to report Audrey was adopted the very next day.
Yay.
That's awesome. Today, we have our very special guest. His name is Teo. Teo is a volunteer favorite and a staff favorite. We can't believe he's still at the shelter. He joined us last month. He's very much a big, fluffy love bug and just wants to be hugged and belly rubs. Today, he will be available for adoption back at the shelter. So we open at noon today if anybody's interested in adopting him. Just as a reminder, all pets that come from Bradshaw Animal Shelter do come spayed, neutered, vaccinated, and microchipped. You can look at all our available pets on animal care at saccounty.gov that are available for adoption. And if you're not interested in Teo, please come to the shelter. We have over 100 pets that are available for adoption.
So tell us a little bit about Teo.
Teo, he came to us as an owner surrender because of his owner could no longer keep him. But other than that, he plays well with people. He's definitely a people person. And he gets along with people very well. He went out recently on a Girl Scout outing for the day, and they just loved him.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hopefully Teo will have the same luck as Audrey did and get adopted.
Let's hope, yes.
Well, thank you for being here, Annette. Appreciate it. We love to share the information about the Bradshaw Animal Shelter so that people know that the Sacramento County has a shelter where they can go adopt animals.
I want to introduce staff. We have Ryan that's with us and a senior animal control officer, Jessica.
Good
So
morning.
Thank you.
And welcome, and thank you for being here today. Appreciate it.
We enjoy it. Come on, Teo.
All right. Next item, please.
The next item on our agenda is presentation of resolution recognizing Capital Region Small Business Week, Supervisor Districts All.
Good morning. I feel like I followed the puppies last time, too, and we're going to have to fix that in the future. Good morning, Chair Rodriguez and members of the board. My name is Crystal Bethke, Director of Economic Development here at Sacramento County, and I am so pleased to present the resolution today honoring Capital Region Small Business Week. For those that are not familiar, Capital Region Small Business Week is part of National Small Business Week, which is recognized May 3rd through 9th. It's an opportunity for us to really honor the small businesses throughout the nation and provide them with additional support services. This year, we will be hosting our own Regional Capital Small Business Week Award ceremony here on May 6th. Not only that, but throughout this week, we'll take the opportunity to present over 13 resource events where, again, we will provide resources to support those small businesses. To put that into perspective, we have over 33 million businesses nationwide, 4.1 million in the state of California, and over 26,000 small businesses that support the unincorporated area of Sacramento County. So it is a large piece of what we do in economic development, and we're excited for this week ahead of us. Today, I'm actually really pleased to recognize the Capital Region Small Business Week Steering Committee who has joined us here today. You have representatives from the City of Sacramento, SMUD, the Better Business Bureau, the U.S. Small Business Administration, and the Women's Business Center. And so joining me today is our District Director, Heather, for Small Business Administration, and then Sophia Kanan with the Women's Business Center. And I'm going to turn it over to them for a few moments to talk about the great work that they're doing on the ground every day.
Thank you so much, Crystal, and thank you to the Board of Supervisors. This year is really special in Sacramento County because we are celebrating 10 years of Capital Region Small Business Week. National Small Business Week has been around since 1963, but this is our 10-year anniversary, and I will say that we are so proud to be powered by SMUD. They have supported the event for the last 10 years, come to everything that we do, and we're just very, very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm Sophia. I'm the director for the Women's Business Center, and I've had the pleasure of chairing the committee for the last 10 years, and it has been amazing to see it all come together. So thank you very, very much for your support, and we hope to see you maybe next week. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Crystal, I just want to give some comments to you. I really appreciate the emphasis and the work and the focus that you give to our small businesses, but also to me, who has requested, I think, a lot of information from your department, and you have come through so that we can in turn support our business community on the outside. And so, whenever we go out and we do business walks now, almost every week, because we want to touch those small businesses and provide them with the resources of the challenges of oftentimes of what it takes to operate a business, to keep it in business, how ideas on how they can market. And then also, most recently, it's adding the behavioral health component that oftentimes small businesses struggle with. And so I appreciate all the work that you do. And thank you, ladies, for also the work that you do and recognizing and acknowledging businesses that just are great in our communities. Thank you for that. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right, next item, please.
And the next item on our agenda is the presentation of resolution recognizing stormwater utility supervisor Rodrigo Valenzuela and crew members Alejandro Vergara, Marcos Garcia, John Hernandez, and Stephen Newman for outstanding service and workmanship.
Good morning, everyone. My office received an email complimenting the work that you do, and I'm going to read it because it's just a lot of good information. I am writing to formally commend Rodrigo Valenzuela, Rigo, and his crew members, Alejandro Vergara, Marcos Garcia, John Hernandez, and Stephen Newman, for their exceptional performance and stewardship of the Deer Creek easement over the past 2 years. Their commitment to technical excellence and proactive maintenance has been a primary driver in restoring the site's integrity. Last year, the crew undertook the demanding task of thinning and trimming the tree canopy, which had been significantly overgrown over several years. Furthermore, they expertly managed the removal of the fallen timber on land adjacent to my property, effectively mitigating potential fire hazards and improving site accessibility and safety. This year, their work on restoring the creek bed and rehabilitating the access ramps has been impressive in precision. These improvements have not only enhanced the aesthetic value of the easement, but have reinforced its function, durability. Throughout these projects, Rigo's crew has consistently demonstrated professionalism and responsibility, setting a high standard for easement maintenance. Their ability to coordinate complex restoration tasks while maintaining open communication has been invaluable. And that was from Amandeep Singh, who was just sent a very nice before and after pictures, which shows the amazing work that your team does. So this resolution here is for just the amazing work that your team has done. So who?
Thank you.
Rigo?
We're going to
Supervisor.
donate to Chad.
Yeah.
In his office.
Do you want to say a few words?
I'm okay. I mean, I just want to basically thank my crew for the hard work that they do, and they make our department look good. So thank you guys for everything that you guys do out there. appreciate it.
Yeah, we're always so grateful when our constituents give us feedback on the county's work, and I know that there are many departments that do exceptional work, and it's sadly that oftentimes we get the complaints, but it's great when we're able to get compliments from the team. So can I take a photo with you guys?
Sure.
All right, very good. Yeah. Did you want to say a few words?
Just real quick, I just want to thank you for the recognition, but probably even more so for bringing visibility to the work that these gentlemen do, as well as many others. They do some really hard work in trying to keep our channels and creeks and streams clean and the water flowing clean to the rivers, where eventually it goes to the water we drink.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for bringing visibility and recognition for these gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rigo. Thank you so much.
And
Next item, please.
The next item on our agenda is presentation of resolution honoring Christina Paniagua on the occasion of her retirement.
Well, good
morning,
morning.
Joe.
Good morning. Good to see you. Christina Paniagua, for over 28 years, you have served this county as a living demonstration of our pride values, principled respect, innovation, diversity, and excellence, through your unwavering commitment to your customer departments. And you've been quite busy these last 28 years, beginning in 1997, where you started as a Records Clerk 1 for the Sheriff's Department, and then quickly promoted to a Records Clerk 2. Then you transferred to the Finance Department as an Account Clerk 2 in 99, and in the same year, you transferred to the Coroner's Office. Busy, busy. Then in 2005, you promoted to Personnel Technician in the Equal Employment Opportunity Office, and a year later, you transferred in that same role to the Department of Human Assistance, DHA. And it was in DHA that you got your groove, as you promoted to Personnel Analyst in 2007, and then you transferred to the Department of Personnel Services, DPS, when the county centralized its HR functions in DPS in 2009. And then in 2022, you promoted to Senior Personnel Analyst and still happily supporting DHA. Your retirement celebration was a packed room of DPS, DHA, and many other employees extolling the impact you had in our lives, the wisdom you imparted, the solutions you provided, and the joy you embodied every day. And it will be those virtues, your virtues, that will endure. We are proud of you, grateful to you, and always with you. Please know that Sacramento County is that much better because of you. Enjoy your well-deserved retirement. And would you say a few words for us, Christina?
I'm sorry, I have a cold, so I have a frog in my throat. I've been supporting DHA for 19 and a half years, so it's been a long time. And my career with the county has been wonderful. Like with everything else, you have a roller coaster, sometimes up, sometimes down, but overall, my employment has been incredible. And supporting DHA over the last 19 and a half years has been just as good. I'm sorry. Learning their culture, supporting them, seeing the supervisors and the staff promote into executive management. That has been incredible to see. Working with my team at DPS, they are incredible analysts and they work diligently to continue supporting all of the departments that we have and whatever issues that we're trying to address. So it is bittersweet. I was at my time where I knew it was time to retire, but I do miss the friendships that I have developed over the years. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Appreciate your years of service. Next item, please.
Next item on our agenda is presentation of resolution commemorating the life of Michelle Renee Husbands.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Chris Orr. I'm with the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office. I oversee our Sex and Family Violence Bureau. With me today are our victim advocates from the District Attorney's Office and supervisor of the victim witness unit in our office. Our office does an incredible job of supporting victims through some horrific events that go on in their lives, guiding victims through horrific times. Our office recently has suffered a tragedy in that we lost our friend and coworker, Michelle Husbands. She was an instrumental part of the DA's office for decades, really. She was an incredible person in our office and a light that really shined a lot to not only the victims and the community that she served, but to her peers, to the attorneys, and everyone around her. And she passed tragically from cancer. We are a loss from her loss. I've invited all the victim advocates up here because really Michelle symbolizes the work that this office does in taking care of the community and taking care of citizens and victims. And we are grateful to the Board of Supervisors for this resolution. And Ms. Geller, Darby Geller, our program manager, is going to read the resolution, if that's okay.
Thank you. Resolution of the Board of Supervisors, County of Sacramento, State of California, commemorating the life of Michelle Renee Husbands. Whereas Michelle Renee Husbands earned a bachelor's degree in social work from Oakwood College in Huntsville, Alabama in 1999, and a Master of Social Work degree in 2002 from California State University, Sacramento. She served for several years with the Sacramento County Department of Child, Family, and Adult Services, investigating cases involving some of the most vulnerable children in our community, and provided honest, authentic, and non-judgmental support to families in need. She joined the Victim Witness Program with the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office in 2007, where she advocated for victims of crime with compassion, strength, and a no-nonsense, yet gentle approach. She drew on her professional experience and support ethnic minority homicide survivors, helping guide them through the criminal justice system while approaching each person with dignity, kindness, and respect. She recognized the need for a crisis response team within the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office to strengthen collaboration among agencies and provide support, comfort, and healing in the aftermath of devastating mass incidents. She led the efforts as the designated mass victimization advocate, and in recognition of her leadership and lasting impact, the annual preparation drill and exercises will now be known as the Husbands Family Assistance Center Drill. She led these efforts as she shared social work ethics and practiced career expertise with undergraduate social work students, helped guide the next generation of professionals, challenged attorneys and others when necessary to protect victims' rights, and advocated fiercely for those she served. Michelle also co-facilitated a monthly support group for homicide survivors in a way that helped participants feel heard, understood, and safe, while also bringing humanity and connection through small but memorable acts of care. She was nominated for and recognized as the 2018 Beacon of Hope Award recipient for her efforts to strengthen victim advocacy and public safety through her compassion and dedication. She turned coworkers into friends and made those around her feel supported, valued, and cared for, earning the affectionate reputation of, quote, Mama Hen, and the unit's self-proclaimed joy giver. Michelle passed away unexpectedly while serving her community and as a valued member of the Victim Witness Assistance Program and as a dedicated Sacramento County employee. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors, County of Sacramento, State of California, hereby expresses its sincere gratitude and appreciation for the life of Michelle Renee Husbands and her dedication to improving the lives of underserved Sacramento County residents, and further commends her exceptional contributions to the betterment of the quality of life for people of all ages and backgrounds throughout Sacramento County.
We thank the Board of Supervisors very much, and we invite everyone on Friday. Our office is holding the Outstanding Citizens Award ceremony here in these chambers at 9:30. We'll be recognizing Michelle. The advocates have voted for her to receive the Victim Service Award also. We'll also have their Beacon of Hope Award. It's all at 9:30 here in the board chambers, and we'll be representing the resolution at that time. Her family is actually traveling to join us here on Friday, and we encourage anyone who'd like to come to join that event on Friday. Thank you very much to the Board of Supervisors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And can I just say, I'm sorry for the loss of your friend. She sounds like she was truly an amazing person. And so it's always nice to have those kinds of people in our lives. So thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Next item, please. Oh, sorry. I do have one comment. Supervisor Cerna.
Sorry, not on the last item. I just wanted to point out
Thank you.
the banner on our videos noting that it's 4/27/26. It's 4/28/26.
Thank you for pointing that out. We'll get the team on that.
Thanks, Supervisor Cerna. Next item, please.
The next item on the agenda are public comments relating to matters not on the posted agenda. And we do have several speakers lined up.
Oh, sorry, Todd. I should have waited.
Oh. So we are on item 6, unscheduled communications. First up, we have Sandra Cortez. Please approach the lectern. You'll have 2 minutes to address the supervisors.
Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning. My name is Sandra Cortez. I am a Gold River homeowner and former GRCA board president. I moved to Gold River because of what it is. I am here today because I am worried about what it could become. Gold River is a SPA with nearly 8,000 residents. We depend entirely on your board and Supervisor Desmond to protect us. Issue number 1, 2 fast food drive-thrus. Documents submitted to your board include a PAM meeting where county staff offered First Washington an option to structure 2 drive-thrus to avoid public notice and bypass CEQA review. Rumor has it that a fried chicken franchise is a contender. Homeowners should not be subject to late-night traffic and loitering from non-residents without a proper public process. We need a pharmacy and a dry cleaner, not an all-night chicken stand. Issue number 2, greenbelt destruction. Last year, a tree permit was granted on our greenbelt, which serves as a sound barrier to our community. Now First Washington wants even more trees removed. Why is county staff discussing signage and tree removal with First Washington regarding our property? Emails show First Washington assured county staff that Gold River is on board. Well, I'm here to tell you directly, we are not on board. Our 3 asks: obtain a definitive update from First Washington regarding all elements of the proposed redevelopment. Confirm publicly that the drive-through proposal is permanently withdrawn unless it undergoes a full public process, including full CEQA review. Number 2, direct staff to deny all further greenbelt tree removal on GRCA property and have county staff review the redevelopment and tree issues together. Number 3, communicate with Fish and Wildlife and DWR to cease any further removal of our trees. We hope Supervisor Desmond will attend the next town hall with First Washington. Gold River homeowners want to work in concert with First Washington. All we ask is we protect our well-planned community and that future plans be done through CEQA and a proper legal process that benefits both Gold River homeowners and First Washington. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Barb Ram. Please approach the lectern. You'll have 2 minutes to address the supervisors.
Hi. I just wanted to comment on the director of the Department of Transportation, who is requesting $2.5 million contract to shore up a sound wall, and it's an emergency. So when I looked into the emergency, it looks like they've been looking at this sound wall since 2024. So 2024, and now it's the second quarter of 2026, and now it's an emergency so that there's no bid process. They just pick someone. And so I was talking to the small businesses. Wouldn't it have been nice if some small businesses were able to bid on a contract? Sounded like our chair was all about small businesses. And instead of having the director of the department, I'm sure he's going to get a retirement resolution. You've done such a great job all these 25 years. I'm sure it's a white man. And this is ridiculous. There is no emergency if you've been studying the project since 2024. Then I would also like to comment on, I know on May 5th or May 2nd, there's going to be talk about the Office of the Inspector General. And so there is now going to be an interim inspector general. And the report that I had no idea the inspector general gets a $165,000 salary. Honestly, thought they were a volunteer because the Sheriff Review Commission Board is a volunteer. So thought $165,000, and we get no reporting for a year, some basic numbers, which I don't even believe. And then we get a report from them 3 months later. He just sends it in, no questions, no discussion. It's completely incompetent. It's like an incompetent report. So I will be talking more about that next week, but wow, $165,000. Eric Jones's friend here is getting a promotion.
And our last speaker is Wendy Bogdan.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Bogdan. I'm the president of the C.K. McClatchy Parent-Teacher-Student Association. I'm here to speak to you to follow up on a letter that I sent to you earlier this week. I'm also here to lift up the perspectives of students who have been organizing, writing letters, attending public meetings to safeguard the existing and future Free Transit for Youth program, which is commonly referred to as Ride Free RT. The success of the program is widely known, but I'll just note that in recent years, in one recent year, over 4.1 million youth rode SAC RT. This means youth getting to school, to jobs, to medical appointments, with all of the economic lift and environmental lift that comes with that. If you haven't recommitted funding, we urge you to do so and would like to speak with you if you have any hesitancy about doing so. If you have recommitted your funding for the program, we applaud you and ask you for you to take the next step, which is to be a champion, not necessarily the funding guarantor, but the champion to develop a durable program with a long-term plan for funding so that one of the current successes in transit can grow and continue, and we can continue to support students, families, neighbors, and the community as a whole. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we have no other speakers signed up.
All right, next item, please.
All right, the next item on our calendar are our consent items. Those are items 7 through 60, and I do have a few notes to read on those. First off, the two aforementioned addendum items, the resolution recognizing Sacramento Chamber of Commerce for National Small Business Week, and also the authorize the Director of Transportation Department to negotiate and execute a contract for replacement of a sound wall on west side of Sunrise Boulevard. We also have item number 7. We will be adopting an ordinance amending Chapter 21.15 and Section 2.30.070 of the Sacramento County Code. We are waiving the full reading, and we waived the full reading, and it's continued from April 7th, 2026, where it was item number 42 on the agenda. We also have an introduction of an ordinance repealing and reenacting county building codes. This is item 23 on the agenda. We will be waiving the full reading and continuing to May 12th, 2026, where it will be adopted. We also have an introduction on number 27, introducing an ordinance of the Sacramento County Code amending sections 9.36 et al. And adding section 9.36.084 relating to park regulations. We will waive the full reading and continue to May 12th, 2026, where it will be adopted. Item number 34, the board will be acting as the water agency, and this is an introduction of an ordinance adding sections to the Sacramento County Water Agency Code relating to impact fee offsets for affordable housing projects. We will waive the full reading and continue to May 12th, 2026 for adoption. And consent calendar item 36 is an introduction adopting a resolution amending the Environmental Management Department's fee schedule for fiscal years 2026 and 27 through 2030-31. And we will waive the full reading and continue to May 12th, 2026 for adoption on that item. Those are all the notes I have on the consent calendar items.
Thank you. Okay, there's no comments here. Any public comments?
We have no one signed up for consent calendar comments.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move consent.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
The consent calendar items pass 4-0 with Supervisor Desmond absent.
All right, next item, please. Oh, we have a comment from our CEO.
Correct.
Thank you, Supervisor Rodriguez and Board. In your action of your consent, you took action on 3 key positions within the county, and those folks are here today, so I wanted to take a moment to introduce them to you. First up, we have Dr. Feng Liu, who will be serving as your new county public health officer. As you know, Dr. Kassirier will be retiring at the end of May, and Dr. Liu will be taking over starting on June 1st. Just a little bit about Dr. Liu. She has more than a decade of experience in public health, all of it within government public health sector. For the past 6 years, she served as a bi-county, so not just one, but 2 counties, both Yuba and Sutter County, as their public health officer. And prior to that, she was the medical director for the public health for the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation in Saipan. In that role, she also serves as an internal medicine physician. Prior to that, she was a general internal medicine fellow at Johns Hopkins University. Her professional work experience and accomplishments and publications and awards are just too long to list. So, but we will be issuing a news article today announcing all of that and sharing that with the public. So she has an incredible amount of accomplishments that we will be sharing. And with that, I'd like to offer Dr. Liu to stage and maybe lower her the podium so she can get a couple words in. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. As you can appreciate, I'm a little bit vertically challenged, but I am deeply honored to be appointed as your Sacramento County Health Officer. I look forward to working with the dedicated public health staff and others within Sacramento County to further the health and well-being of all Sacramentans. I also would like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Kassirier for her many years of service. Thank you.
Thank you. I did let Dr. Liu know that hopefully in her term there's no pandemic. That because Dr. Kassirier did a tremendous job during that time, but hopefully. So welcome to Sacramento County. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Supervisor, we have 2 other ones. I'm going to ask Deputy County Executive Eric Jones to talk about the next 2, please.
Good morning. Thank you, David. Good morning, Chair, Board of Supervisors. Again, Eric Jones, Deputy County Executive of Public Safety and Justice. We have 2 that I'm going to introduce. We will start with Tiffany Sinnott. And if you could head down toward the podium, thank you. After a lengthy competitive process, she secured the contract that you approved today. She's been under contract with the county since 2023, serving as Deputy Director of the Conflict Criminal Defender, which is our overload and conflict Defense Counsel, and then has been the acting director for Conflict Criminal Defender's Office since March of 2025. Before joining the CCD, Tiffany served 22 years in our public defender's office. She has extensive defense experience and has demonstrated leadership skills, making her the perfect candidate for this role. So Tiffany, would you like to say a few words for us?
Yeah, I just want to thank you so much. I am honored and humbled to be appointed the director position of CCD. As Mr. Jones indicated, I served as a public defender in this county starting in 2001, where I had the privilege to work among my colleagues in the role of a trial attorney, a supervisor, community liaison, and chief assistant. In that role, I developed new innovative programs, many that were nationally and state recognized, to implement all the new laws and challenges facing the criminal defense bar at that time. Some of those programs were mental health diversion, pretrial, juvenile trauma response court, and record modifications. In 2023, I was recruited by CCD to go over and try to help CCD train their attorneys on the new laws and make sure that our CCD clients had the same access to services as our public defender clients. And we did just that. CCD is thriving. And it's thriving because this county has an incredible group of county employees that work hard every day, and a great panel of attorneys and investigators that dedicate their life to making sure they're doing client-centered work for our criminal justice system. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And with this opportunity, I'm committed to serving this board, the county, our community, and our clients. Thank you, and welcome to Sacramento County.
Chair, are you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So finally, I'd like to introduce Eric Kane, who will serve as the county's Inspector General. This contract is for a one-year period. He was also a finalist in the former competitive bid. I do want to acknowledge a couple of our Sheriff's Community Review Commissioners who work with our Inspector General are here. I see Commissioner Riviera, and I see Chair Curtis, and I hope I'm not missing any others. Did I get them all? Okay, great. So Mr. Kane is an accomplished law enforcement leader with more than 25 years of experience in police operations and staff supervision. Most recently, Mr. Kane serves as an association director for the University of the Pacific. Most of his career was spent with the Stockton Police Department, where he started as a police officer in 1996 and rose through the ranks through sergeant, lieutenant captain, and retired as a deputy chief. His experience in managing complex criminal and personnel investigations and positive community engagement makes him well-positioned to serve as our Inspector General. Mr. Kane.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board.
Good morning.
First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve Sacramento County in the role of the Office of Inspector General. I appreciate Mr. Jones' introduction and overview of my experience, so I won't belabor that point. But in preparation for this position, some of the things I did was I spoke with the prior Inspector General, Mr. Kevin Gardner. He was gracious enough to give me a considerable amount of his time and give me some of his thoughts on this position and the role. I also reviewed a good number of the Sheriff's Community Review Commission meetings to understand their desires and the input they get from the community, as well as speaking with the County Executive's Office to, again, understand the goals and objectives of this position. I know one of the things that they want to get working on right away is some additional reporting and documentation during the monthly Review Commission meetings, as well as some additional information to include in the annual report about how the Community Review Commission, the Inspector General, how they kind of work together to provide some additional oversight for the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office. But once again, I just want to thank you for your time and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Sacramento County as well.
Thank you, Supervisor Rodriguez. That concludes our remarks, and we'll schedule some time on everybody's calendar to have one-on-one and introductions.
Thank you. Next item, please.
All right, we're moving on to our morning hearings. First up is item 61. This is the public hearing on the benefit category change and levy of increased service charges for the Moravi Southeast subdivision in County Service Area Number 1, Zone Number 1.
Good morning, board members. I'm Dawn Pimentel with County Engineering. The Moravi Southeast subdivision is situated between Bradshaw and Waterman Roads, approximately 1,100 feet south of Florin Road. The development consists of 102 single-family lots, a park lot, 2 landscape lots, and associated site improvements. The project was approved on February 25th of 2025. Required to filing the final map, the project proponents submitted an application to initiate the benefit category change process. Following that submission, the notice and Proposition 218 protest ballot were sent to the property owner on March 13, 2026. Currently, the property's existing parcel is in the safety light only category with an annual assessment of $2.56. Upon changing to the enhanced street and safety light residential and non-residential categories, the annual service charge will increase to approximately $7,580.60 for the development project. If the board has no questions, staff recommends opening the public hearing, consider written and oral testimonies along with any objections or protests, closing the public hearing, and then directing the clerk to tabulate the return protest ballot.
Okay. Any comments, questions? No? All right, we will now open the public hearing. And are there any?
We have no people signed up to speak on this item.
Okay. We will now close the public hearing, and the clerk will tabulate the return protest ballots.
I do have one ballot for this item. For parcel 066-0070-049, it is marked as yes and signed and dated by the owner.
Okay, since there is no majority protest, the fill-ins for the resolution are in Section 2. At the close of the hearing, the board received 0 written protests. In Section 3, at the close of the tabulation, the board received 1 protest ballot totaling 100% of the total service charges to be levied, of which 100% was in favor of change of the benefit category and 0% were in opposition of the change of benefit category.
Okay, and entertain a motion.
Move approval of the item.
Okay, please vote. Thank you.
And that item passes 4-0 with Supervisor Desmond absent.
Next item, please.
The next item on our agenda is 62. This is the public hearing to establish a service charge within the Morvai Southeast Subdivision in County Service Area Number 10, Benefit Zone Number 3.
Good morning, Dawn.
Me again, the project didn't move. It's still at Bradshaw and Waterman Roads. To comply with the rezone conditions of approval, the property owners of the subdivision requested that the county establish the CSA 10 Zone 3 service charge for their developments. These charges provide extended service-related services, transportation-related services that can reduce vehicle trips within new urban growth areas. In response to the owner's request, the 218 ballot and notice were mailed to the property owner on March 13, 2026. The item proposes an annual service charge of $131.54 per single-family residential lot, of which there are 102 single-family units. If there are no questions from the board, we recommend the board open the public hearing, consider written and oral testimonies, any objections or protests, close the public hearing, and then direct the clerk to tabulate the return protest ballot.
All right, we will now open the public hearing. Are there any requests to speak?
There are no people signed up to speak on this item.
All right, we will now close the public hearing and have the clerk tabulate the returned protest ballots.
I've received one ballot. The ballot for Service Area Number 10, Benefit Zone 3, MRP HBZB LLC. It is marked as yes and signed and dated.
Thank you. Since there is no majority protest, the fill-ins for the resolutions will be as follows. In Section 2, at the close of the tabulation, the board received 0 oral and written protests. In Section 3, at the close of the tabulation, the board received 1 protest ballot totaling 100% of the total amount to be levied, of which 100% was in favor of the service charge and 0% were in opposition to the service charge.
Thank you.
Move to approve the item.
All right, please vote.
That item passes 4-0 with Supervisor Desmond absent.
Thank you, Don. Next item, please.
The next item on our agenda is number 63, and this is the presentation and overview of the 311 Customer Service Program.
Good morning, Rami.
Good morning, Supervisor Rodriguez, members of the board, Rami Zachariah, Chief Information Officer, and today to give you an update on the County 311 program. Waiting for the presentation to load. There we go. So in our presentation today, we are going to talk a little bit about what is 311. I'm going to share with you some analytics about 2025, the contact methods for 311, our top 10 service request types, a little bit about mobile application and geolocated photos, and then we're going to show a short video on a new technology that we just implemented. We'll wrap up with questions and answers. So Sacramento County 311 was established in 2013 as a central point of contact for county residents to request county services or information. It's something focuses specifically on community services or public works kind of services, but also provides information about any county department. The 311 also maintains a knowledge base for residents to find services and information across the county or anything related to the community. Here are our analytics for 2025. We have 30 dispatchers. 13 of those are permanent full-time employees, and we have 17 intermittent staff. The 17 intermittent staff work on average about equivalent to a 6 full-time equivalent person. The intermittent are used to cover when county employees are taking vacation, sick leave, or in the instances where there is storms and there is high demand for the 311 call center. We have 4 leads that work all shifts to make sure that our services, like if you have a call and they need to escalate the call, there would be somebody highly experienced to take on these calls. And we have 3 supervisors. In 2025, we received 187,433 phone calls. Our residents through the mobile app submitted 32,790 service requests. Through emails, we received 13,029 emails and 4,028 web portal submission. The top 5 departments supported are waste management and recycling, animal care services, transportation, community development, and regional parks. Our residents have different choices in contacting 311 call center. The phone calls are still our predominant entry line into 311, with 79% of the interactions are coming through the phone lines. 311 mobile apps receives about 14%, the direct emails about 5%, and the website is about 2%. We are working on improving the mobile app and the interactive communication through the web. We would like to see increased usage of the mobile app and the electronic format in submitting service requests. Our top 10 service request types, missed refuse and services, representing the large majority of calls, illegal dumping, pavement, pothole repairs, stray animals, roadside animal removal, private property waste, illegal parking notification, investigation of dog parking, private property vehicle related, and stray and injured animals. In the last few months, we've added homeless services, illegal parking, and we are working on getting ready for the fireworks service request type. We hope that will go live in June, well before the 4th of July.
Right, and can you go back to that page, Rami? Can you remind me, do we or do we not have cameras on the refuse trucks or the? We do.
I believe that we do have cameras on
And
those.
so the missed services, and that's when somebody, when we miss it, we go back out. But do we ever get people where they put it out late and then they contact the county for missed service?
I believe that this happens. As how often that happens, I think that's, I don't know if you would like to weigh in on that.
Yeah, this is probably more for me. Dave DeFonte, Deputy County Executive. So we do have cameras on the trucks. As I think the board's aware, we're putting in what's called in-cab technology right now. We have the first trucks outfitted with it currently. And that's going to be essentially an iPad in each truck that allows for things like when there is a missed service, instead of coming back to the office at the end of the day or trying to phone it in and getting a truck out there to pick it up later, that can happen in real time via essentially the app within the truck. As directly to your question, we get a lot of calls for missed pickups. I would say, speculate that a number of those calls are because people forgot to put out their bins and are essentially claiming that we missed their pickup. I don't think we have real good numbers as to what % is between an actual pickup versus somebody forgetting to put out a bin, but our speculation is the latter is a very large chunk of that business line. So when we come back to the board this summer to talk about the potential fee adjustments related to waste management, that is going to be one of the key things we address during that discussion.
Oh, good. That's where I was going, was if we go back, if we have cameras on the trucks, do we check? And if we go back, is there a surcharge for that?
Currently, it is complimentary, but that is going to be something, just a sneak preview of the future here, that we want to talk with the board. If we do have clear evidence by way of cameras that a bin was not out on time, that we would then charge for a go back.
Yeah. Yeah, I could imagine for those where we miss it and we can prove it, then we would do that complimentary. But if somebody puts it out late, I believe that there should be a surcharge, and we can have that discussion later. Thank you, Rami.
Sure. So this is the 311 mobile app. It was developed by the Department of Technology staff, and we are getting ready to release a new version of it in June of this year. On the 311 mobile app, you can simply report an issue by taking a picture of the issue that you're trying to report. When you do that, it records the geolocation and the date and time of that picture. So when this service request is referred to a county department, they can easily find the location of where the issue is. This is extremely helpful, especially in areas like on the parks or an area that's not inhabited, that there are no addresses, physical addresses that you can go to. One of the new projects that we just launched maybe about a month ago or so is a new feature on the county website that allows you to interact with the 311 on an interactive basis using an AI chatbot. So you could submit a service request via a virtual interview, routing the request to the appropriate department. You can pinpoint the location. You can view issues nearby. You can track your service request. And you could search the public knowledge for anything that you would like to add. It's kind of like a virtual agent that you can interact with at any time. And here we have a quick video that we would like to show you on this new
Welcome to Sacramento County's new era of customer service. Meet Cami, your 311 digital assistant, here to make accessing county services and information easier than ever. Cami is Sacramento County's 311 chatbot, available on the web portal and on your phone. Whether you need information, want to request a service, or track an issue, Cami's here for you, anytime, anywhere. Getting started is easy. Choose how you want to chat, log in to your 311 customer portal account, or continue as a guest. As a guest, Cami helps with quick answers, searching the county's knowledge base or using your location to answer questions like, how do I get a building permit? Or, what reports are near me? When you log in, Cami unlocks even more. Report issues with over 90 service types available, track your requests, and more. It's fast, simple, and available right on the web portal. Cami keeps things simple. Each chat follows a focused conversation flow, and you can reset any time to start fresh. And this is just the beginning. Cami is still growing, with smarter AI and more service options on the way. Your feedback helps shape what's next. Ready to try Cami? Visit the Sacramento County 311 web portal today and experience faster, smarter service. Together, we're building a better Sacramento County.
Some of the technology that 311 uses, this is the latest AI chatbot. We also have the mobile app that we're hoping with the new redesign that the percent of people using the mobile app submit request will increase dramatically.
One moment, Rami. Supervisor Kennedy?
Thank you, Chair. Rami, I'm just curious, so is the new CAMI, is this up now? Because, I mean, I was out with my app over the weekend, and it didn't look any different.
Right now, it's not up on the app itself. It's up on the website. Okay. With the new release of the app, it will be on it.
When's that?
We're targeting June.
Okay.
Toward late June.
Thank you.
And then finally, at the heart of 311 is the county GIS, the Geographic Information System, that there is tight integration between 311 and GIS to make sure everything is pinpointed in the right direction. This is our 311 day shift staff. We wanted to take a picture of everybody, but because of the nature of 24/7, it was hard to get everybody. But this is our great staff that's working 311. I would like to recognize Jason Taylor. He's our outgoing 311 manager, recently accepted promotion to be the chief of consolidated utility billing. We also have Rusty Greenlee. He is our interim 311 manager while we fill the position. Angela Fanning, she's our lead information technology analyst on 311. And Nye Saturn, she's representing the supervisors of the 311 program today. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present an update to you about 311. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say that you have an exceptional team. I get very data driven, and 311 data was very intriguing to me. And so when you gave us access to be able to look at some of the, you created a specific links so that I can see what's happening in D4. I worked with your team, and they were just phenomenal. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I definitely share this opinion. They are fantastic.
Yeah. Supervisor Kennedy?
Yeah, I'm going to just pile on there because I'm a pretty heavy user of the app, as is my staff. And I know that when I go to community meetings, they are too. I was surprised by the 79 versus 14% as far as using the app. But I will also tell you this as somebody who represents another jurisdiction in Sacramento County, where there's border lines and so forth, and I'm at community meetings, I hear quite frequently, we prefer the county's 311 app to the other one. So, keep up the good work. There's always room for improvement on these things. That's why you keep doing it. But you responded when a number of us said we wanted homeless services, homeless issues on there, on the Dropbox, and you did that pretty quickly. Kind of surprised we're not seeing that among the top 10, but I think it's because it's still relatively new.
That's probably true.
Okay. But thank you and your staff. You're a tremendous tool that not only helps us serve the community, but in a very cost-effective way. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
The next item on our agenda is 64, Overview of Inspector General Role and Responsibilities.
Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Chair, Supervisors. Again, Eric Jones, Deputy County Executive for Public Safety and Justice. And there we go. So today's presentation provides a brief overview of the Office of Inspector General, including its role, responsibilities, and limitations. Today's item is informational, intended to clarify how the current oversight model works here in Sacramento County, especially given the recent transition. For example, item 11 that you just approved, which is the 12-month contract with Mr. Eric Kane as the Inspector General. I do know, before I get into the presentation, one reason we moved quickly on ensuring we had somebody contracted and just for a 12-month period, a shorter period, while you all get to talk more if you desire about the Inspector General's office. When we had former Inspector Generals complete their contract or leave their contract, it's about an 8 or 9 month process of a competitive bid. And what we found is that sometimes shorter, sometimes a little longer, but each time the overflow, the backlog that occurred, so that the new Inspector General coming in had a lot of work to do to get that up and running. And as you know, the Inspector General, as we have it, as you all have it now, is selected by the chair of the Board of Supervisors, as well as in conjunction with the sheriff. And it also requires the concurrence of the two labor groups, DSA, Deputy Sheriff's Association, and LEMA, the Law Enforcement Management Association, have to actually concur with that selection, as did occur in this contract that was approved today. That's actually part of, and you'll see a thread of this later in the presentation, that's part of labor agreements that will still go through 2027 on the scope and role and responsibility and on their role in concurring with selections. So we'll get into the purpose of the Inspector General. So it was established in 2006, and it was in response to community concerns about oversight of the Sheriff's Office, mostly related to jail operations at that time, but the Inspector General oversees all things with field operations, investigations, jail. The goal was to create an independent function that could review how the system operates and provide transparency. Very importantly, and you are all aware of this, the Inspector General is not part of the Sheriff's Office. That independence is very intentional. At its core, the Inspector General exists really to support these three things, which are the accountability, transparency, and public trust. The Inspector General's work centers on review and oversight, not direct enforcement. A major responsibility is reviewing internal affairs investigations of the Sheriff's Office to look to whether they are complete, fair, and thorough. If the Inspector General feels that was not the case, they can send back recommendations back to the Sheriff's Office. Typically, their professional standards or internal affairs division. The Inspector General also monitors what we call serious incidents, and these include officer or deputy-involved shootings, significant uses of force, in-custody deaths. And beyond individual cases, the Inspector General audits policies and practices, identifies patterns or systemic issues, and accepts and tracks complaints from the community. The Inspector General also has a key public-facing role, which is really serving as a liaison for the community and to provide updates to complainants, perhaps who have filed some complaints, and to engage with the community, and is expected to be at our Sheriff's Community Review Commissions to help be that liaison as well and work with the commission. And I'll talk about our model here. It's sort of a hybrid on kind of where the two roles of the Sheriff's Community Review Commission and the Inspector General come together, but yet are independent. The key idea here is the Inspector General evaluates how well is the system functioning, not just individual outcomes. So Sacramento County uses what's often described as a hybrid oversight model. We did a preliminary review, some of my staff, of other counties, and what we determined is there are a lot of different models. There are some core types of models, about 4 or 5, but every county is quite different. And we really see the principal distinction is usually about how they enforce access to records of the Sheriff's Office, and then the transparency, how it is reported out. Our Inspector General operates as stated as an independent contractor, really focusing on reviewing, analyzing, and reporting out. Then second, we have the Sheriff's Community Review Commission, which is part of our what I'll call overall oversight model. They provide a community-facing forum, meet right here in Chambers monthly. And also, you voted some time ago to have our Sheriff's Community Review Commission have subpoena authority, which the Inspector General does not. The Inspector General's role is supported through that MOU I mentioned with the Sheriff's Office and with the labor groups that goes through 2027. In practice, our Inspector General does the technical oversight work, and really our commission provides an additional layer of accountability and support, and to really be that ear for the community and to provide recommendations to the Sheriff's Office, just like the Inspector General does as well. They're really viewed as shared and complementary. I did want to add, at the direction of the board, since we're talking a bit about the Sheriff's Community Review Commission as well, was to report out the attendance or appearances of Sheriff's Office staff at those monthly meetings. So I'll report that out now here, so it's related. From the period of June 2025 to current, there have been 10 community review commissions, and at 3 of those, there have been Sheriff's Office representation. There we go. It's important to really understand both the authority and the limits of the Inspector General's role. So here are the things that the Inspector General can do. They can access and review information and investigations, identify trends and systemic concerns, make independent recommendations, and report findings publicly within the legal confidentiality limits. The IG cannot direct sheriff's operations, discipline deputies, prosecute cases, and they do not have independent subpoena power. These limitations are pretty consistent across California due to the sheriff's role as an elected official, which, as you know, is quite different than a police department that has a police chief that reports to a city manager. These are elected offices, so that's why they are quite different. The key takeaway is the Inspector General provides this oversight, review, and transparency, but not operational control. So we listed out the strengths and limitations of the model, really. The strengths here are this model has the Inspector General independent from Sheriff's operations, flexible, cost-controlled contract structure, focused expertise, and it enhances that public transparency and trust. The limitations could be listed as relying on cooperation and the Sheriff's Community Review Commission's subpoena authority. A limitation is because the Inspector General, or could be viewed as a limitation, because the Inspector General is contract-based, it is less permanent than what we see in some other charter systems where an Inspector General is, say, a county employee or an actual full-time employee. And the influence is indirect. So the ultimate power, if you will, of an Inspector General is to publicly provide recommendations and to report out in a public manner. The Inspector General was chosen in our county and many others to really create an independent record of events to help identify systemic problems early on, support policy improvements, risk reduction, and strengthen public confidence in oversight. And so I mentioned again, the Inspector General does review, document, and then you inform continuously. They do an annual report. They're all posted online. The Inspector General also comes to the Sheriff's Community Review Commissions, which are public and Brown Act meetings, gives monthly reports there, and hears from the Sheriff's Review Commission. Thank you. I'm available for any questions you may have.
Supervisor Kennedy.
Thank you, Eric. You and I have spoken about this deal quite a bit since you've been here. You know, I value the importance of the Inspector General. I value the need for the role of an Inspector General, but I've been somewhat critical of our current process and the way it's established for a couple of reasons. One being, well, we all agree that independence is critical in order for the work to be respected in many forms, including by the public. But that independence is also a liability when it comes to accountability. Very difficult, and you know, I'm not saying anything we all don't know because of the structure and the legal requirements of the independence of our elected sheriff. And we all know what's happened in the past. It makes it very difficult. So as you and I have spoken before, I am going to today be just as helpful as I have been in the past, and that's offering no recommendations to you. Just that, I see this issue and I still can't figure out how to fit the square peg into the round hole. So I appreciate your work in kind of bird dogging that for us. One of my concerns about the position, the way it's currently structured as a contractor-based position, is that depending on the individual, there's very little, again, accountability, very little oversight of the position itself. We've had a variety of inspectors general since I've been here, and they've all been very, very different in their approach to what their responsibilities are. I will say that probably the most proactive, and comes with drawbacks, but probably the most proactive was Inspector General Brazil, who he and I would meet regularly, and he was very firm in saying that my job isn't to sit around and wait for the phone to ring and wait for there to be an officer-involved shooting or a jail death. My job is to, while those functions are important, my job is to identify policies and practices of the Sheriff's Department and see how those can be modernized, see how they're redundant, see how they're no longer relevant if they're older, and then to make those recommendations to the sheriff. Now, ironically, the same Inspector General who was locked out by the sheriff early on in their tenure together worked very cooperatively, and the Inspector General did make recommendations which, by and large, were adopted by the Sheriff's Department until things went south, as we all know. So that's part of my concern is how, when you're outside of the traditional chain of command org chart at the county, how we can maintain some kind of accountability and not just be sending this person a check until there's an officer-involved shooting or something like that. That's always been a concern of mine. I don't know how to fix that, but it remains a concern. Another interesting point is it doesn't have and I may be wrong legally here, so counsel, the position doesn't have, as you said, subpoena power. However, the Board of Supervisors does have subpoena power, correct?
I have not researched that issue, so I can't opine, unfortunately.
When we were doing the commission, I believe we did research the issue and found that in fact could be a tool. So yes, by virtue of the fact that they kind of work for the supervisors, Board of Supervisors, there is at least some linkage to a potential for subpoena power.
I would say that you, as the Board of Supervisors, created the Sheriff's Community Review Commission, and then you allowed them, based on legislation that had passed, for the commission to have those subpoena powers and authority, yes.
And finally, I do know that, and let's hope we never go back to the dark days when the sheriff just willingly locked out the Inspector General, which was a complete snub to the public. But at the time, or after that, when cooler heads were prevailing, the board entered into an MOU between, I believe it was, Supervisor Cerna probably remembers better than I do, but I believe it was an MOU between the board chair and the sheriff to ensure that before anything like that could happen again, there would be some kind of mediation process, retired judge, whatever it was we came down on. I think that when that sheriff left and that IG left, that never was renewed. And if that's the case, not saying it would ever happen again, but just to make sure, I think it's good idea to belt and suspenders it and look at making sure that an MOU such as that's back in place.
Yes, Supervisor, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, there are no other comments from the board. So thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
And we do have a member of the public signed up to speak on this item. That would be Paul Curtis.
Thank you. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Chair Rodriguez and members of the board. Good to see you all. My name is Paul Curtis, and I'm chair, as you may have heard, of the Sacramento County Sheriff Community Review Commission. Served in that role as chair for about 3 years now. Wanted to follow up on a couple items. One, to thank the board for approving in your consent calendar the contract for the interim Inspector General, Eric Kane. I think that was a really good move. He's a good candidate and will be a good interim Inspector General for us. A primary reason, one, is as Eric Jones had pointed out, the last time we had an absence when we didn't have an Inspector General, we literally went 9 months without an Inspector General, and all the complaints that came in just piled up during that time. It's something that bothered a lot of us on the commission. And then the next IG that came in spent a lot of time trying to catch up with it all. So there's that part. Also want to reinforce what Eric Jones said about the importance and critical nature of the Inspector General. As he noted through the 3 critical items, it's the accountability and the transparency that can lead to public trust. And that's a critical part of what the Inspector General is about, as well as the Community Review Commission that we all serve on. And that together works as a great model. Appreciate the thoughts and concerns about looking at the Inspector General role going forward. With respect to the question about subpoena powers in the whole bid, I'd have to ask legal counsel, but I would say that generally, if the Inspector General ever came before us with a request for a subpoena, we would take it very seriously. And of course, rely upon legal counsel, but we would take it very, very seriously. That's part of the partnership back and forth and working together. So I think that's a good avenue to keep in mind. But I think looking at it overall, whether it's a contract position versus an employee, there's pros and cons either way. I don't have any good thoughts right now about what might be a good move going forward. Be happy to give it some thoughts and come back if this board would be interested. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
And there are no other public comments.
All right. Next item, please.
The next item on our agenda is number 65, the workshop on the 2027 Sacramento County Transportation Development Fee Transit Impact Fee Update.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair, members of the board. I'm Cameron Hsu, Principal Civil Engineer with the Department of Transportation, and I'm here to walk through the recently launched 2027 update to the county's Transportation Development Fee Transit Impact Fee Program. I'm joined today by Bob Grandy, who is our Consultant Project Manager with Fair & Peers, as well as I'm pleased to see in the audience a couple members of our Development Industry Advisory Group. So this is an early workshop. Our goal is to frame key policy questions and get some board direction. Prior to finalizing the Nexus study, I anticipate we'll have at least one additional board workshop to present draft fee numbers and options. But for today, I'm going to focus on what's changing and why, and where we need some input for the assumptions that will feed into the program. I have a total of 13 slides, the first 9 being background information and the last 4 being the key decisions and some staff recommendations. So at a high level, the purpose of this program is to ensure that new development pays its fair share for transportation infrastructure. This includes roads, transit, bike, and pedestrian facilities, basically everything needed to support growth over the next 30 to 35 years. Importantly, this is not about fixing existing deficiencies, but rather about addressing future demand created by growth. It's also a requirement to maintain our eligibility for Measure A transportation funding. So this program has been in place since the late 1980s and has been updated periodically to reflect changes in growth, policy, and infrastructure needs. The last major update was in 2019, tied to the general plan, and each update builds on the same legal and technical foundation but reflects new realities. Projects that have already been built come off, new development is forecast, and a new list of transportation projects comes out to support that development. So the majority of funding in the program, about 87%, goes towards roadway and intersection improvements, but there's also meaningful investment in bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure, as well as intelligent transportation systems, or ITS. Not shown in that pie chart, but a separate component of this program, there's a transit fee that supports major capital improvements that are coordinated with Sacramento Regional Transit. This includes things like high-capacity bus corridors, light rail improvements, and maintenance facilities. So there are three major drivers behind updating the program at this time. State law now requires updates every 8 years under AB 602. There have been major changes in the legal landscape, such as the recent Sheets versus El Dorado County Supreme Court case. And we have several planning inputs to consider, such as the recently adopted 2022 Active Transportation Plan and several specific or master plans that have been approved since the last update. So while this isn't optional, we're taking advantage of the opportunity presented to modernize the program. We've built a pretty robust stakeholder process around this update, which includes a development community advisory group, coordination with special districts, SAC-RT, as well as community advocates. So the idea is to surface issues early and avoid surprises later in the process. We've already kicked off our first development advisory group meeting, and we'll begin reaching out to other groups such as bicycle and pedestrian advocates as those portions of the program advance. This map shows how the fee program is divided into 6 fee districts. These have nothing to do with the supervisorial districts, but rather align with planning area boundaries in areas that have similar roadway usage. These districts are important because they determine how costs are allocated based on travel patterns and impacts. They've been in place in this form more or less for the last 15 years and were developed through prior stakeholder consensus. So the biggest change in the legal landscape has been the recent Sheets case, which have clarified that development fees must meet 2 key tests: an essential nexus to a legitimate public purpose and rough proportionality to the impacts of development. So in practical terms, this means we need to be a little bit more precise and more defensible with how we calculate the fees. And this could influence things like how we structure fee districts or allocate the costs. AB 602 requires that residential fees scale with square footage, which we're already aligned with. And recent legislation also reduces fees in transit priority areas and encourages transit-oriented development. So we're balancing the legal compliance as well as policy goals like housing and transit. So the first key question really has to do with regional trails. As I mentioned earlier, there have been several new specific or master plans that have been approved since the last update. And the first question is, should we include new trails from these recently adopted specific and master plans? Staff recommendation is yes, as we historically have included certain trails tied to these specific and master plan communities, provided that they connect to the regional trail system and meet certain minimum design requirements. The second question is new trails identified in the 2022 Active Transportation Plan that are not specifically within the boundaries of a specific plan. And staff recommendation is to look at including some of these trails, but ensuring that there's a clear nexus to new development. So that could be trails that connect to nearby specific plans or help mitigate traffic impacts along roadways that are already at capacity. However, including every regional trail from the plan is probably not going to be financially feasible or meet nexus requirements. So in some cases, we're going to have to look at outside funding sources to fund some aspects of that program. The next question is about expanding the program to include additional ITS or intelligent transportation system infrastructure. These are elements like traffic cameras, message signs, and the fiber optic network that allows signals to be synchronized and communicate back to the traffic operations center. The current program funds improvements along 20 roadway segments. County standards require connecting new traffic signals to the network if they're within half a mile of an existing connection point. Right now, if they're not one of the 20 segments identified, development has to pay the cost out of pocket. So staff recommendation is to expand the program to include some additional roadways, but like the trails, we want to take a thoughtful approach to control the costs. So this could be focusing on roadways where we're already going to be expanding the roadway and it's easy and cheap to add new conduits, or ensuring that there's no other way to improve the roadway and we have that nexus. The second to last question is about how much future growth to assume in the model. There's really 2 approaches: using full build out of all approved general plan development, which is probably 30 to 35 years out, or use a more constrained forecast in attempt to predict the growth and the needs of the next 15 or 20 years. Staff recommends sticking with the full build out approach for several reasons. It's consistent with past practice, it aligns with all of our adopted county plans, it avoids having to make judgments about the most likely locations development will occur, And overall, a larger development assumption is likely to result in slightly lower fees. While there's going to be a larger list of overall projects with more development, there's more units to spread that cost among. And you can keep adding more units, but in some cases you can't widen the roads any further. So the spreading cost does help control fees. And with the program being updated at least every 8 years, there is always the future opportunity to make adjustments and course correct over time. The last question is whether fee district boundaries should change. More districts does allow more precision in the calculations and could be seen as adding to the legal defensibility. The argument being if you were to chop the county up into 100 different fee districts, it's a bit easier to show why a certain house in a certain location has more of an impact on a certain interchange than a different house. Although from a practical perspective, it does become a little bit unwieldy and is not strictly necessary to satisfy the proportionality requirements. The benefit to having fewer fee districts is consistency and predictability. So neighboring development projects in general use the same roadways will have the same fees. And from staff's perspective, the current fee districts have worked for a long time, and we're anticipating there may be small modifications to boundaries to account for new plans that have been approved since the last update. But we're not proposing a massive change for folks that are used to the current system. So today, we're really just looking for the board's concurrence or alternatively recommendations on these 4 policy areas that will guide this Nexus study moving forward.
Thank you, Cameron. Supervisor Kennedy?
Thank you. That was very concise and to the point. I appreciate that. Obviously, a lot of thought into it. I think you are heading in the right direction. I obviously want to hear what the members of the public have to say. A couple things, though, as far as the regional trails. I would like to see us continue to, look at and consider our regional trail system. The work that SACOG's been doing on really promoting linkages. We've had a history, not Sacramento County necessarily, but agencies throughout the region of requiring or allowing for mitigation measures to be trails, but yet they're trails to nowhere. There's no linkages and so forth. So I always ask when we have a project in, you show me the linkages, not just the internal trails. I think that is important. And to, just as an example of its importance, more and more people are and will use trails as a transportation system, not just a recreational system, if they are linked, if they are maintained and so forth, than otherwise. And I saw this weekend. I was on with Strong Sac New Group, and we took a tour of some of the trail systems in Davis. And believe it or not, you think Davis, you think bicycles. They need a lot of work. But the value of people, you see people using these trails as transportation on the American River Parkway. Those aren't just recreational trails. That's why I think $1 million a year goes from Measure A to the American River Parkway, because it was shown that this is actually a commute pattern for people. And the more that we invest in it, and I know times are hard, but the more we invest in it, the more it will even grow to become more so, particularly with gas prices going up, with people more willing to look at climate as a real threat to our planet. So I would like to have, maintain some kind of emphasis on trails and regional trails networks. And as far as fiber optics go, I used to run the Digital Californians project, in which we maintain throughout California. Anytime Caltrans opens up a ditch, anytime there's building going on and you have an opportunity to lay those fiber optics in a more cost-effective way that serves people in unserved areas and can close the digital divide, as well as provide for municipal service that you outlined, I think that you're wasting, public time and money if you don't take advantage of that. So I hope we'll continue to see that as a priority. Thank you.
Thank you.
Supervisor Hume?
Yeah, I thank my colleague for his comments. I tend to agree across the board. The one thing I would say is in looking at the different districts, when I had the briefing, it was mentioned that potentially going to more concise districts is more legally defensible. And so when I look at the pink district, that seems to be a pretty disjointed district running from, say, Stockton Boulevard and the unincorporated area there all the way out to the county line to the east. And so I would think, if we used maybe South Watt, Elk Grove Florin as a divider, carved off that area, it seems to be more of a unique geographical area, and then you'd have the middle section, and then I think everything to the east of Grant Line Road, White Rock Road, could be absorbed into the yellow or blue districts.
Okay, we can definitely take a look at that.
If we need to kind of pursue that of how to have more concise, defensible districts.
Yeah, I see what you're saying with the roadway usage out there. The folks on Stockton Boulevard aren't going to be using Grant Line Road.
Well, no more that they're going to be more of an urban north-south orientation, and then you have that middle section, which really is the new growth impact area, and then the area out to the east that could, I think, be absorbed into either one of those districts and not really have any deleterious effect on the area, either in the middle section or in the Stockton Boulevard area.
All right.
Are there any requests to speak on this item?
We have no requests to speak on this item.
Okay, well, thank you, Cameron, for the presentation.
Thank you for the input.
Next item, please.
All right, we have no more hearing items, and that brings us now to item 67, which is the Board of Supervisors 2026 appointments from own ranks to the National Association of Counties and the Public Financing Authority of the County of Sacramento Metro Air Park Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District. So we currently have the National Association of Counties. Currently serving are Supervisor Desmond as the member and Chair Rodriguez as the alternate. The expiration date for those seats are May 1st. And then for the Public Financing Authority, the members are Supervisor Cerna, Supervisor Desmond, and Chair Rodriguez. The expiration date for those seats are May 4th.
Okay. Do you by chance happen to know whether Supervisor Desmond is interested in being?
I do not know that.
Okay.
I believe he is.
He is, okay, very good. All right, Supervisor Hume?
Yeah, I was just going to Rochambeau with Supervisor Kennedy to see who wants to take the public financing, because I assume that's a one-year term, and so it would extend past.
It's a one-year term, yeah.
So I would assume that since it extends past your time on the board, that one of us should step in.
If whatever Supervisor Cerna wants, I mean, I would prefer to have District 1 continue representation until it's vacant and then make that decision, but I don't know what the legal options are.
I assume there's a way that we can bring this back before my last board meeting to make that adjustment.
Yeah, that's
certainly.
All right.
I appreciate the discussion.
So I will make a motion to retain the same individuals on these boards. Please vote. All right, next item, please.
Passes 4-0 with Desmond absent. Next item on the agenda is our board to consider nominations to the following. First, I would like to note that the following board nominations are being continued to May 12th, 2026. Those are the Adult and Aging Commission, the Antelope Community Planning Advisory Council, the County Planning Commission, North Highlands Community Planning Advisory Council, Sacramento County Commission on the Status of Women and Girls, and the Veterans Advisory Commission. Also being continued are the following boards to May 19th, the Cemetery Advisory Commission, the Developmental Disabilities Planning and Advisory Council, the Health and Human Services Coordinating Council, the Natomas Community Planning Advisory Council, and the Sacramento County Treasury Oversight Committee. And the following boards will be continued to June 9th, 2026. Those are the Cosumnes Area Community Planning Advisory Council, the Delta Citizens Municipal Advisory Council, and the In-Home Supportive Services Advisory Committee, and South Sacramento Area Community Planning Advisory Council. Now on to today's items. First, we have the Carmichael Community Planning Advisory Council. There is one District 3 nomination. And I believe we are continuing District 3's nomination to May 12th. We have the Children's Coalition. There are 25 seats.
Okay, please nominate Maureen Burness and continue the remaining to May 12th.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Then we have the Cordova Community Planning Advisory Council. There are 3 District 5 nominations.
Please continue to May 12th.
Thank you very much. Then we have the County Service Area 4B, Slough House, Wilton, Cosumnes. There are 3 seats, 1 District 4 nomination and 2 District 5 nominations. We can take the District 4 nomination.
Please continue to May 12th.
Thank you. And 2 District 5.
Please nominate Patricia McNeil and continue the other to June 9th.
Thank you. Then we have the Elk Grove Cosumnes Cemetery District. There are 2 seats, 1 District 2 nomination and 1 District 5 nomination.
District 2, appoint Dennis Busher.
Thank you. And 1 District 5 nomination.
I nominate Tom Mann.
Thank you. Then we have the Equal Employment Opportunity Advisory Committee. There are 4 citizen member seats.
Please nominate Trina Makayo and Sahir Shapi.
Thank you.
And then continue the remainder to May 12th.
Perfect. And next we have the Foothill Farms Community Planning Advisory Council. There are 3 District 3 nominations. And I believe we will be continuing those to May 12th. Next, we have the Local Child Care Planning and Development Council. There are 10 seats.
Please nominate, I'm going to list the names, Natalie Dunaway, Deborah Ferguson Doss, Frisha Moore, Veronica Jones. I'm sorry, reappoint those 4. And then we're going to nominate Shayla Barnes.
Excellent.
And then we'll continue the remaining to May 12th.
Thank you. Next, we have the Sacramento County Behavioral Health Advisory Board. There are 4 seats, 1 District 3 nomination, 1 District 4 nomination, and 2 District 5 nominations.
For D4, please continue to May 12th.
May 12th. And the 2 District 5 nominations?
I apologize, I don't have that on my vote sheet here.
Possibly Gurleen Kaur?
I do have it on my vote sheet. There it is.
All right.
Nominate Gurleen Kaur and continue the remainder to June 9th.
Thank you very much. And we have heard from District 3, they would like to nominate Lucas Holtz. All right, next we have the Sacramento County Youth Commission. There are 4 seats, 1 District 4 nomination and 3 District 5 nominations.
For D4, please continue to May 12th.
Thank you.
And for D5, please continue to June 9th.
Thank you. Next up, the Sacramento Environmental Commission. There is 1 County of Sacramento appointee.
Please reappoint Megan Reichert.
Thank you. Then we have the Sheriff Community Review Commission. There are 5 seats, 1 District 1 nomination.
Continue to May 19th.
Thank you. 1 District 2 nomination.
Please reappoint Michael Whiteside.
Thank you. 1 District 3 nomination. No applicants. We are going to continue that to May 19th. 1 District 4 nomination.
Please continue to May 12th.
Thank you. And 1 District 5 nomination.
Please continue to June 9th.
Thank you. That brings us to the Sunrise Recreation and Park District. There's 1 District 4 nomination.
Please nominate Mark Shahan.
Thank you.
Dan.
Then we have our last board, which is the Vineyard Area Community Planning Advisory Council. There are 5 seats, 1 District 2 nomination.
Please reappoint Fong Hodgson, Hodgden.
Thank you. And 4 District 5 nominations.
Please continue to June 9th.
Thank you very much. And that concludes our nomination section of the agenda.
All right, next item, please.
Next item on our agenda is county executive comments.
Thank you, Todd. Just a couple of quick announcements. Tomorrow night, the Sacramento A's will be taking on the Kansas City Royals, and it is the California Association of Counties is pulling together a regional night for counties. So it's a county celebration of counties and what counties do at the ballpark tomorrow night. We've shared discounted tickets with all our staff, and all of you are welcome to also attend, and we can also get you those tickets. It's tomorrow night at, I think it's 6 o'clock. Also, next Saturday, Sacramento FC Republic is going to be playing Orange County Soccer Club. That is Sacramento County night, and we will be celebrating what Sacramento County does specifically in the soccer field. Last year, we had almost 350 folks show up to that from the county. We were able to take a great group photo, and hopefully we'll have the same turnouts. As I understand, we're running out of tickets, so if you're interested in going, those are also at discounted tickets that we've worked with the soccer club to get discounted tickets. And then my last item, if Metro Cable could put up a picture for me. Earlier this month, our probation department received the 2025 Western States Information Network, or the WISN Regional 1 Agency of the Year Award. This award recognizes the department for the use of investigative resources, information sharing systems, and officer safety tools. In the announcement, the WISN stated that the Sacramento County probation officers utilized investigative and deconfliction services to its fullest potential. I'd like to congratulate Probation Chief Jamal Roll and his staff for the great work, and I see Deputy County Executive Jones up there too. I know he was very proud of this group and what they've done in this department, and was very excited when the Probation Department received this award. So thank you for your time.
All right, next item, please.
Next item is supervisor comments, reports, and announcements.
All right, I don't see anyone in the queue. I have a few. I want to congratulate Rod Hart on his retirement after 45 years of service with the Rancho Murrieta community, beginning as a maintenance worker and working his way up to general manager of the Rancho Murrieta Association, where his leadership helped deliver key improvements, including the bridge connecting the north and south sides of Rancho Murrieta. So congratulations on your retirement, Rod. I also want to give a shout out to Rolando Villarreal from our EMD department. In my last community meetings, he attended almost all of them and gave information to the public about what EMD does and how they are connected to our communities, and so people had a lot of great questions for him, and so thank you, Rolando, for attending with me in my meetings. I also want to give a shout out to Jose Henriquez from LAFCO. The Rio Linda community has had over the years several questions about incorporating, and there was a lot, just a lot of misinformation and really sort of the unknowns about what it would take to ever incorporate. So I brought out Jose. We had a community meeting. It was well attended, really great questions, and there was, I think, a lot of really good, realistic information given to the community about what it would take. And then I also want to say that I really, really enjoyed doing the State of the County. During the process, I learned so much about what the county does, and just so many of just all the hard work from all the different departments. But I want to give a special shout out to Josh Volker, who on the day of the State of the County, it was so reassuring to have somebody who really knew how to utilize the teleprompter, and it was just very securing knowing that when I would speed up and slow down, and he stayed with me, and it was just reassuring. And then I also want to give a shout out to Kim Nava, who from the very beginning, it was like, all right, Kim, I need all this data. Can you please provide it? And she
just was so great to work with. Even towards the end when I said, I need to really understand the challenges of the county so I could deliver that information. And she was just great to work with. She really is an asset to the county, and she's so professional and she's so nice that it was great. And also to the Folsom Chamber of Commerce, who really made it very effortlessly on our end. And I hope that those who were in attendance were able to enjoy themselves, and it didn't take a lot from the county. I hope I was able to deliver that it would be minimal impact to the county, but I really enjoyed it, and I got so much feedback after from members of the public and people who attended who said, I had no idea that the county did, whatever the topic was. And so, but it gave a perspective of just how big and ginormous the county is when it comes to governance in Sac County. So it was a great experience, and I hope that we can continue that because it was just really incredibly eye-opening to the public. And that is all I have. Next item.
Our final item is adjournments in memory.
Okay, I do have one adjournment. This is Supervisor Hume's mother. Supervisor Hume, we are incredibly sorry for the loss of your mom. Janet Glee Guttridge was born to James Randall and Minnie Nunes Guttridge on March 20th, 1935, in the farmhouse of the family's ranch cattle in Prairie City, Oregon. She and her older brother walked literally uphill in the snow to the one-room schoolhouse where the two of them made up the significant portion of the student body. In the mid-1940s, the family moved themselves and 100 head of pure Aberdeen Angus cattle to California, eventually settling in Elk Grove. Janet continued showing cattle through her high school years, including a grand national champion steer at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. She and her best friend, Joanne Zender, were the apple of many boys' eyes while lifeguarding at the local pool. In 1955, Janet married U.S. Air Force pilot Harlan Hal Hume and relocated to Del Rio, Texas. The family moved frequently as Hal was stationed all over the United States and twice in England. During this time, they had and raised 5 children: Mike, Vicky, Jackie, Mary, and Pat. After Colonel Hume's death in the line of duty in 1977, Janet moved the Hume clan back to Elk Grove, where the Guttridges still lived. There, she augmented the family's real estate interest, helping to develop and manage Elk Grove Village Shopping Center and Emerald Lakes Golf Course, forming 4G's development to represent the 4 Guttridge children: Jim, Janet, Mike, and Sally. Janet was on the Elk Grove's Planning Advisory Council prior to the incorporation of the city of Elk Grove. She served multiple terms on the Elk Grove Chamber of Commerce Board, was a cherished member of the Seroptimus Club of Elk Grove, and served for many years on the Elk Grove Regional Scholarship Foundation. A lifelong traveler, Janet had been to every state and most of the continents. Later in life, she married cattleman Dick Harry and enjoyed living life to the fullest with the new blended family and expanded circle of friends. Janet passed away peacefully, at home just as she wished, on April 15th. Death and taxes, indeed, so it seems. She is survived by her 5 children: Michael and Allison Hume, Vicki and John Truitt, Jackie McManigal, Mary and Ron I hope I'm saying this right, Gangle, Pat and Lisa Hume, 10 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-grandchildren. And Supervisor Hume, we are incredibly sorry for your loss, and we will close today's meeting in memory of Janet Guttridge Hume, and we will now adjourn to closed session.